I'm Teddy. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Teddy. This is Lisa Steinberg with Starry Constellation Magazine. It's a pleasure to chance to chat with you this afternoon about this. We'll make a pun brilliant show.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, yeah. So far, so good. I'm really loving it. It's cutting together really beautifully and continues to surprise me every week, which is a great thing, because I know it's coming.
I mean, as the actor, I can only imagine like the perspective, of course, being within creating such incredible, suspense-filled, top-notch drama like Brilliant Minds delivers week after week. You feel pressure in that capacity at all?
No, you know what's funny, and maybe this is something that audiences don't appreciate, and I certainly didn't until I started doing it. Was when you make a TV show, the first season specifically, and it hasn't aired yet, like that's just for us. Like we're doing it. I mean, of course, we're doing it for an audience, right? And we're doing it for NBC and Warner Brothers, but we're doing it for us. Like no one's seen it. There's no feedback. There's no pressure. We're all just doing the work that we see on the page and the work that we think is, right and appropriate for our characters in that moment, right? So no pressure whatsoever. I could, speaking for myself, I know the other actors feel this way, but really speaking for myself, so thrilled to be on such a well-written show. NBC medical dramas have this to me, like, they have a long and looming history of excellence and with fine actors, and great drama, like you said, suspense filled. So zero pressure, just more joy and gratitude for being there, for being able to have a job, and the backing of NBC that wants to see us succeed. So no, just joy, just excitement.
I mean, you've got Berlanti Productions behind you. It's kind of
Yeah,
like one of the top caliber companies to
yeah,
be working for as well. So
yeah.
the staff that
No,
you have on board with the writing is just again the most high level, and I really admire how this series. This sharp writing really kind of enhances and amplifies the great dynamics that we get to see within these characters, but also the great
yeah.
suspense and tone that it helps to build just as much.
Yeah. You're exactly right. I mean, there's this sort of a wonderful, albeit maybe kind of perfect mix of everything you just said, and I'd add in some, some wit and a little bit of humor at sometimes inopportune times, which can sort of lighten the mood, if you will. But as humans do, sometimes use humor, gallows humor, to help us get through difficult or thorny periods. There is this sort of wonderful mix that the writers have put into the show, and our job as actors is to find all of that. I mean, bring our personalities to the table and bring how we see things and see story developing, and then just let it rip, right? So, and the beautiful thing about working with Zach is he's such a fine actor, and from scene to scene, uh, take to take, if I'm being more specific, don't really know what I'm going to get. I mean, I know generally what I'm going to get, but like if I'm really paying attention to him, he's going to be a little bit different. He's going to make different choices. He's going to try on different things. And my job and everyone's job is really to respond to what the other person's giving you at the moment. And that's always really fun too. It becomes this sort of dance. And sometimes we don't really know where we're going to find ourselves at the end of the scene because, you know, um, sometimes the line comes out this way or that way, and sometimes they use it, sometimes they don't. But that's really the fun to creating this is we get to try these different things on, knowing that like we can't lose because we're telling the story, we're telling it appropriately. But like, what if I said it this way, or what if it came out that way? And the magic is in all these moments stitched together in a very beautiful, cinematic, very watchable way. And we do that week after week, and we have something pretty special here. Yeah,
I mean, you sort of touched on my next question about working with Zach, and I love the tete-a-tete that we kind of get between your characters. Your character Josh Nichols has these kind of sharp edges, a seriousness, and Zach's character has a lot of boundaries that he pushes, and he
yeah,
also has a lot of unconventional practices. And you sort of touched on that part as well as the fact of I was going to ask how you kind of play these great beats that we get to see, this palpable beats, that kind of energy, that synergy that we get to see between these two characters. I mean, obviously, I know you've worked with Zach before through
Yeah.
AS and stuff, but this is a whole different type of palpableness and tension building that we get between you two.
Yeah, Zach, I can be a very fast talker if I need to be. There's something really fun about talking fast because it doesn't allow a lot of room for sort of thought to come in and like disrupt, you know. And sometimes things have to breathe and the lines have to breathe and you need to take your time getting things out. Sure. Zach comes to a lot of the stuff that we do with a very sort of quick pattern. You know, he talks quickly. So then immediately I'm like, oh, I can match that. You're okay, well, I can. And then we have this sort of thing. And before we know it, we're at the end of the scene. So that's been really fun. It's really fun. I mean, that's especially because I don't really know what he's going to be sort of doing, like I mentioned. So as far as like finding the moments or finding the beats, it's not difficult. When the writing's this good, it's always kind of clear where the turn is. But I'm constantly surprised by Zach because just when I think like after reading the scene, oh, it's probably going to unfold something like this, he does something totally different. So then I have to do something totally different to match it, and we find ourselves, like you say, like sharp edges and seriousness meeting, unconventional and novel and a bit fuzzier, literally. That was a bad joke.
Blurry
So
lines.
there's this sort of thing that just kind of works, though. It just kind of works because they are intellectual. They're an intellectual match for each other, and so they can go back and forth with different ideas, theories, points of view. And that is, I think, and Zach is such a smart man in life that he has this sort of, I don't know, wonderful intellectual thing that he brings to all of his work. And that's a place that I feel very comfortable in because that's who Josh is. Josh is that very heady, very cerebral guy. So it's a really nice match for me personally. It feels like it just feels very comfortable. And working with Zach is very comfortable.
I would sort of be remiss with the things that kind of have topically happened in the last few days if I didn't talk a little bit about how your character is a neurosurgeon, but also part of the LGBTQ community. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about the importance and significance of having that representation. Obviously, we talk about that continually. It's nonstop importance to see that representation and why it matters so much on screen. But even more so now in the upcoming time periods that we're going to be seeing. What does it mean to you to portray this type of character and have that reflection on screen?
Oh, to me, it's a massive honor. To me, I think the more we can see ourselves as humans reflected back, I mean everything. I mean everything about who we are, every oh man, everything about ourselves exposed, internally as well as every size, shape, color. I think it's so important to tell the truth of the matter. I mean, we're we're everything in this beautiful country of ours. So I think, I mean, for me, it's a tremendous honor, and I think it's important to. I think it's deeply important to just have the truth be told up there. I also think that, listen, Zach is the first openly gay sort of lead of a primetime medical drama, right? And Zach said something on Chelsea Handler the other day, and I'm going to paraphrase, but something like, "It's a big deal because it's not a big deal." It's an aspect of who Oliver Sacks was, who Zach is. It's there's so many more interesting and sort of dynamic things about this character, and I would think in Wolf, and I think it's the same with Josh. I mean, Josh is so much more than that. But it is a massive component of his identity. He came up as the character was written in the Don't Ask, Don't Tell era, and he served in the military. So, he's able to be who he is much more freely and much more open, which is a lovely place that we find ourselves. So my hope is that we continue to see that representation and see ourselves reflected back. And I say ourselves, meaning everything we have, everything that we as humans can sort of find in ourselves that can be reflected back, should be reflected back, because we're not one thing, we're not monolithic, we're so many different things, and all those different things should be celebrated.
Well,
I
thank you
hope that
so much.
answers your question.
It
Yeah.
does.
Well,
Thank you so much for your portrayal and the representation that you provide within the series. And again, it is such a meaningful thing to be able to see for the LGBT community have that type of representation reflected, especially within the lens that we have for now for the future. So thank you
yeah.
for the
Well,
work that
it's
you
not.
do.
Well, that means a lot, and I just want to say it's not going away. It's not
No,
going away. We're still going to make these wonderful dramas. We're still going to tell the stories of human beings, and that to me encompasses everything. And storytelling can't or shouldn't be limited in the scope of what it tells, particularly when we're talking about other human beings. We are all of our different things, and that's not going to go away. That's certainly something that I'm gonna work to make sure is always represented. So